Hey, what's up, Internet? It's me, Odio, and I'm here today to review Final Destination's Bloodline. Yes, the king of horror, death, and murder has returned. So, if you've ever driven behind a log truck and felt uneasy or been a little bit afraid to open up a door, or you avoided death somewhere and thought, my goodness, I hope it doesn't come back for me, well, that's because of Final Destination. Yes, Final Destination 1 through 5 was a set of horror movies that plagued an entire generation right up till 2011. And we thought it had finally met its match. Death had finally caught in that franchise until now. The Final Destination series must have had a premonition. They've avoided death and they've brought it back. And how did this movie turn out? Well, let's get into it. And I gotta say, better than expected. And since this is essentially Final Destination 6, of course, it starts off with, what I'm going to call the first traumatizing moment of this movie for me. I don't do well with horror, but I wanted to give this one a go. And my God, I used to sleep all the time, but now I don't sleep that much because of all the horrendous deaths I've seen in Final Destination. And when I close my eyes at night, I start to see the deaths again. Not all the time, but they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
So this movie starts off way back in the 50s. We're going to an opening of a great big old tower, and there's dancing and singing and celebration. And I'll tell you, it looked like a pretty fun time. But then, of course, I remembered we're watching Final Destination, and holy cow, a lot of people are going to meet their Final Destination, just like all the Final Destination movies. It opens up with horrific killing, violence, and death, and just unforgettable kills. I tell you, they go for it right out the gate. And a couple of times I'm like, well, I don't need to look away. They're going to cut away right before. Nope. You're watching every minute of their horrific, painful deaths. Doesn't matter. Old people, young people, kids, women, children, men, whatever. They don't care. They are all getting smoked and in horrible ways. And I hadn't watched one, I think, in a really long time. So I was just a little bit shocked. The opening is fantastic, though. If you're here for the horror and the murder, boom, they open up with it. And of course, there's always a big premonition, right? That's how Final Destination works. So yeah, anyways, after the trauma-inducing and sleep-removing abilities of the opening scene here, we we cut from the 50s out to the future. We're with a girl named Stephanie, and she's going to be our main protagonist. Turns out our girl Stephanie here is having all kinds of nightmares and she doesn't know why. She's reliving some horrible time of all these terrible deaths on top of a tower. Oh, yes, imagine reliving that every night. I can imagine it. But I just mean, imagine her. It's actually happening in her life and it's ruining her life. She's gone off to school and kind of not hung out with her family a whole lot. So her homecoming is not exactly a happy one. But she comes back to try to figure out, like, who are these people in the dream? Why does it keep recurring? And it all comes down to Grandma Iris. And yeah, this is Final Destination Bloodlines. So, of course, we're getting into the bloodlines. I'm going to try to stay spoiler light, but I mean, it is Final Destination, so the plot is a whole bunch of people getting killed. But yeah, we go out and we find Grandma Iris, probably one of the better characters in the movie. She's a recluse living in the woods, and she's estranged from the whole family. Why is that, you say? Well, because she's looked at as completely insane. She believes death is an entity that's coming for them, and all those people she saved in those premonition years ago, they're all dying in a certain order. She even has a giant death board set up. Oh, it was awesome. I was like, okay, she's really getting into this. She must have seen the other movies. Anyway, Stephanie goes out there to try to get the facts on what's happening and should she be afraid and why no one likes her. And she gets, because she doesn't know where her mother is. Her mother is also kind of estranged. And I think it's because her grandmother, Iris, she was the one in the dream. What? Oh, yes. Yeah, she had the premonition and that's why she has the death board. She knows what's going on. So she tries to explain it to her. And of course, Stephanie's like, whoa, grandma, you sound old, senile, and quite crazy. So but yeah, we come to an understanding that this movie's called Bloodlines because all those people that were supposed to die, they're going through the family line. So they kill the person that was in the original event, then they go through their bloodline because they were never supposed to have kids. They were supposed to die all those years ago. And of course, Stephanie is one of those bloodlines. Anyway, we get also the second most terrifying trauma-inducing death right around this part of the movie. I don't think I will ever be able to get one of these images out of my mind. Like you get to see some of the craziest deaths ever in this, but seeing a weather vane come out the back of someone's head and almost hit someone else in the face is just a moment you don't forget overnight. That kind of sticks with you and like, holy cow, I thought that was going to be the worst of it, but no, this movie's got more for you. Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen a Final Destination movie. You kind of forget they do the teasing where you like walk in a room. Oh, there's a knife over there. Is this drawer open? What's this ball over here? Everything. You think everything is going to start to kill someone, and you start thinking of ways it's going to happen, and the camera will slowly pan over something. You're like, oh, that knife is going to go in somebody. And a lot of times you're right. But now that Stephanie knows what the jig is and she knows the order of who's going to die, she also tries to explain it to everyone. No one believes her. But, the movie happens. If you do check it out, one of the other reasons I can't sleep, there is a lawnmower death. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know accidents can happen with lawnmowers, but holy goodness. And again, these cameras, they don't leave. They're like, just watch the whole thing. Watch this, watch this death here. Like, yeah, it was awesome. And like a lot of them were really unexpected deaths. I was like, I kept thinking it was gonna be this character or that character, even though they kind of tell you the order, sort of. You still in your mind, you're like, well, this is about to fall, this is about to happen, and they change it up a lot. It's a lot of fun when you're watching the movie. It's like, are they gonna die? This room's gonna be this room. The tension is high. They do an awesome job. The musical score is great. It moves up and down as you walk into certain rooms and certain things are happening. They do a great job of teasing you with who's going to die. There's all these little twists and turns that take place. Like, how can they defeat death? Is there a way to beat death so that it can't get them? Like, it's really interesting and quite a lot of fun. Also, if you've ever found yourself uncomfortable around an MRI machine, well, this movie's not your friend. I had to bend over backwards not to have to see that scene again. We do get some moments in the hospital, like, and whenever you go in the hospital, everything in there is an instrument of death or healing, depending whose hand is holding it, right? So, yeah, crazy MRI scene. Final Destination Bloodlines is just a really good horror movie, and it revives the whole franchise one brutal garbage truck death at a time. And if you see the garbage truck death, you know what I'm talking about. This movie goes for it with every kill, over the top, bloody, explosive, whatever it needs to be. This movie's gonna do it. And I did mention that casually, but I gotta say that the garbage truck death still. Oh goodness, another thing. Mostly when I close my eyes at night, I will never forget that. That is one of the craziest death scenes I have seen in anything in my entire life. Like, wow, they really go for it. It's over the top awesome. I was scared the entire time. I was cringing. I had people in the room. They were laughing at me because I was like so. Oh my goodness, I was so overtaken by some of the deaths. I don't watch a lot of horror, but I remember these from years ago. I thought I could kind of get back into it, but man, oh man, wow, you gotta be a fan of horror. Prepare for the deaths, my friends, because they are coming. And the movie ends up with I think it was a pretty decent ending, kind of like a little twist, no spoiler, but it was pretty good. And and before the whole movie's over, they do bring back a reference to the log, the logs from the first one. Everyone knows the logs from the log truck. We get a little reference come back here at the end of this too. I thought it was well timed and really good. Overall, this movie was like extremely well done. Excellent horror movie, great return to form for the franchise, and honestly, a lot of fun at the theater. I'm going to give this one a solid 8 out of 10 on the odometer. Great time if you're looking for a horror movie to see. And a lot of times when they bring back old franchises, it doesn't have the same heart, the same feel, but I really think this one does. It does an excellent job. And if you're a fan of Final Destination, hoorah! You're going to get yourself a really fun movie and a good time at the theater. But remember, sleep may not be something that comes to you. If you enjoy sleep and you don't like seeing horrific death images in your eyes as you close your eyes at night, this may not be the movie for you. I know some people, myself, that have had that experience. But thanks so much for watching this far, guys. Really appreciate your time. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. And remember, everybody, stay out of trouble.